What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Talking Jets with Tigo. My name is Tigo, and today we're going to be doing a video about the 5 keys to victory for the New York Jets to beat the Miami Dolphins at home. But before we hop into that video, guys, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow. We are trying to hit 2,000 subs before the bye week. So if we can do that and we're marching our way there, I would greatly appreciate it. But let's talk about this upcoming game against the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins have honestly surprised me. I had very low expectations for this team, even with the addition of Tyreek Hill and Teron Armstead. I thought that the rest of this team was going to play really badly, including Tua. But up until and before the injury, Tua was actually performing exceptionally well, getting the ball to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. The defense was performing really well. It looks like they haven't missed a beat since losing their head coach last year, and Mike McDaniel is absolutely showing that he is an NFL head coach, that he knows how to coach up this team. But that being said, the New York Jets are coming off of a big win away at Pittsburgh, and it would be great to be able to not only beat a division rival, but get our first win of the season at home. Both of our wins were away, and both of our losses are at home. Let's show our fans a win at home, and here are the 5 things that the New York Jets can do to help get that win, in my opinion. I think the first thing, by far and away, the most important thing for the New York Jets to get a win is we need to see better offensive line play. Now, I'm not going to blame the offensive line and say that they're playing badly or anything like that, because they're bad. I think it's the offensive line is suffering one of the worst runs of bad luck I've ever seen for a football team. Laken Tomlinson has played with a new left tackle, it seems, almost every single game. It's hard for you to build chemistry with a teammate when you have a new one every single week. But the hope is that Dwayne Brown can clear and play for the New York Jets this coming game against Miami. You hope that Mike Remmers can step up and play the right tackle so that we can move Elijah Vera Tucker back to right guard and solidify the center of the offensive line. But if we can get better offensive line play, especially against a really good Miami defensive line, it'll not only help Zach Wilson in protection and giving him an extra hitch to be able to get the ball out quickly and effectively. But the most important thing, in my opinion, is if we can get better O-line play, we can really get this run game going. Last week, we saw Zach Wilson throw the ball about 40 times, and we ran the ball about 30 times. And I want to keep up that pace of throwing the ball and running the ball. But the problem is that the run game wasn't really getting going because the offensive line couldn't create much push. A lot of changes on the offensive line. So if we can get better offensive line play, it'll lead to a whole slew of better play all up and down the offensive side of the ball. The second key to victory is going to have to be the linebackers and safeties doing the performance that they had against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The safety room really showed up and showed out, specifically in LaMarcus Joyner, and the linebackers decided to not be massive liabilities in that game. While CJ Mosley didn't have the best game, Quan Alexander was flying and was really good. Marcel Harris wasn't the cause of any big problems. LaMarcus Joyner was everywhere, and Whitehead, again, wasn't the main cause of any big problems, it almost seemed like, for the first time all week. Now, while I'm not saying that LaMarcus Joyner has to be that elite again, if he can come back down to average safety play, and Jordan Whitehead can stay at average safety play, and we can get average safety play from all of our linebackers, it'll be a big boost to this pass rush, to this coverage team, and it'll really help this defense get off of the field, especially when you look at the fact that Miami will be playing with their backup in Teddy Bridgewater. And so that's something that we have to try to take advantage of, right? Is that it's a backup quarterback. Teddy is an absolute great backup. He's one of the better backups in the NFL. So it's not like saying that that's an easy wash But if the linebackers and safeties can really get going, that'll really help. And they should have an easier job because the run game in Miami isn't really effective. They're really winning by passing the ball and getting the ball to their playmakers and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, which leads me to my third key to victory. DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner need to have massive games. These guys have been absolutely elite for the New York Jets the last 4 weeks. DJ Reed playing as a top 10 safety, Sauce Gardner playing as a rookie defensive player of the year candidate. Defensive rookie of the year candidate. He is playing out of his mind good. And so when you take all of that into consideration, this is going to be one of the toughest challenges that the New York Jets corner room is going to have to face. And this isn't me trying to disrespect Cincinnati's wide receiver room, because Cincinnati's wide receiver room is absolutely elite. But what I mean by this is going to be a really, really tough challenge for the New York Jets is Cincinnati doesn't have the speed on the outside that Miami does. Tyreek Hill is called the cheetah for a reason. Jalen Waddle had the fastest 40 time of the wide receivers available in that draft class. These guys are absolute speed demons, and when they get the ball in their hands, they're also incredibly elusive. So the cornerbacks, DJ and Sauce, are going to need to have big games, and that's going to help the defense everywhere else on the field. So if the defensive backs can really step up the game and really just make life hard for Teddy Bridgewater, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle, we might be able to frustrate this offense and might be the first team that can frustrate this offense. The fourth key to victory is Zach Wilson has to get the little things right. We know that Zach Wilson is that dude. We know that Zach Wilson is our franchise quarterback. He can make the big time throws, the deep throws, the balls up the middle, all of those things. His escapability is elite. We know all of these things about Zach Wilson. But now it's time for you to get the little things right. The screen passes, the 5-yard in routes, the slant routes, the short and intermediate throws. We need to see improvement from Zach. Not everything needs to be a 105-mile-an-hour fastball, and we saw that against Pittsburgh, where he was throwing balls with more touch and not putting everything behind balls. But there was still some problems where he's trying to put too much behind the ball, and it's making it difficult for the receivers. Now, that's not an excuse. Like, a great example is the Tyler Conklin catch. He should have caught that ball. I don't care that it was a little high and a little bit hot. You got your hands on it. It went right through your hands. You got to bring that down. Zach Wilson's got to get the little things right. And the last key to victory, and I think this is the most important one, is we have to limit the mistakes and the penalties. Right now, we are getting penalized way too much for stupid things that are totally in our control. And it's not like they're bad calls or anything like that. Late hits on the passer, blocking in the back by our offensive lineman, running downfield by the offensive lineman, bad wide receiver penalties, like slipping and falling when you're about to get a sack, fumbling, tipping the ball up in the air instead of catching it, dropped passes. We're making really, really, really dumb, stupid mistakes, and we're shooting ourselves in the foot with these penalties. We need to stop that. We need to limit the mistakes, limit the penalties, and don't beat ourselves. This game is already going to be hard enough because Miami is playing really, really well. Don't make it harder on ourselves. Let me know what you guys think about my 5 keys to victory. Do you think I missed something? Let me know in the comment section below. And last but not least, go Jets.